Hey guys, welcome to our very first ToolBox Christmas special. We figured we'd put this one together just to give all of you out there an insight into what the likely journey is within the toolbox. I think we've discovered over the last couple of years that the My Electricians toolbox community is probably the best kept secret for marketing your local electrical business. So I think it's about time we sort of let the world know who we are and what we are all about. So I think we're going to start off by introducing the people around the table. We have a mix of years within the toolbox. We've got Kate, who's been around the toolbox for at least 10 years. And then between everybody else, I think there's an average of sort of 3 to 5 years around the table. So let's kick off by introducing ourselves. Kate.
Hi, I'm Kate McDonald. I'm a partner in a small domestic electrical business called DMC Electrical.
I'm Justin. I run a little company called Wessex Electrical Services, based in Alton in Hampshire.
Hi, I'm Kerry Cranis. I run Cranis Technology Services, based in Swindon. Been a Toolbox member, started this year.
Shem, I run Solid Electrics Limited, based in Southampton, and I'm in the toolbox for more than 2 years now.
Excellent. So should we kick off then by talking about some of your successes this year that you've had in relation to your business and your marketing?
Yes. So basically the success I've had this year is the continued workflow. I've escaped the feast and famine. I've escaped subcontracting. I've escaped working for the local builder. And all the work that we now generate is our own. So and I can book my diary so that it's constant. I can book the work in when I want to book it in. So I'm not at the beck and call of the local builder who will, like you say, phone me up on a Friday afternoon, say, plasterers are coming in Monday. And I've escaped it. And I'm really, really chuffed with it.
So how much of your work was made up of that beforehand? What was it?
Wow, pre-Toolbox, it was all subcontracting and it was all local builders. And I'd be travelling everywhere. I'd be travelling all over the country. So you're not only being an electrician, you're being a van driver as well. So you're doubling up on your work. You're working away. No work-life balance whatsoever.
What would the average mileage have been then on a day?
Well, I don't know about a day, but we would do somewhere between 40 and 50,000 miles a year.
Right. So
my vans were worth scrapping at the end of the 5 years, and that was it. Wasn't even worth bothering with. They were wrecks. Okay, purely just motorway mileage, and we work all over the country.
And today?
Today, I've just my current van. I've just replaced my current van. I've got another electrician starting, and he's going to have it. We did 65,000 miles in 5 years. So with the pandemic, because obviously that changed the business landscape for me quite a bit as well. I became more local, and it's just I don't miss those days of travelling up and down the motorway, getting stuck in traffic. It's been brilliant.
Excellent. So you say more local. Do you have, it's one of these things that sort of frustrates me, is this sense that when tradesmen are operating in their own area, they're working in their own area, they end up having to travel out more for work. And there's this, you're watching other tradesmen driving into your area, so in your case, another electrician driving into your area and working while you're getting frustrated because you're driving out and you're going 40, 50 miles down the road. And that. Do you find any difficulty now getting local work?
There's no difficulty at all because there is so much of it. We still travel a little bit because I've got a couple of I've got a commercial customer who is national, so I still have to travel a little bit. But majority of the work is within a 20-mile radius, and that's being generous because I could probably spend 6-7 months of the year just working in the town where I live because there's that much work. There's that much work. You could quite easily. Some days, I'm even starting to pick up customers in my own road. Having to drive 4 houses is just...
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, it's just terrific.
Kate, what's it been like for you this year?
So we mirror really the same sort of things as Justin about getting away from subcontracting work and reliant on other people giving you work. But in addition to that, having your own customers and having a regular flow of that means that you get to be a bit more choosy. We can pick the things that we really want to focus on. Darren does specialise in small, quick projects rather than long-winded projects where he might need to bring other people in. That really suits us. And again, it's about narrowing down the business so we now have enough business that we just service a 20 mile, 25 mile radius. And most of that is right on our doorstep. So, 15-minute drive away. So it's all about saving time, really.
Excellent. But when you talk about those when you talk about the small projects, are you referring to what we call in the ToolBox minimum charge?
Yes.
Minimum charge work.
Yeah, definitely. And specialising in the things that you know that you're good at, that you give the best quality for, and that so you then can price it well because you know how long it's going to take. You know that you want to do that. You know that you can service that well, and then you'll be called back to do the next thing. Again, it's been a lot about looking at the customer that you really want to work for as well. And then once you know that, the marketing suits that, and then you pick up more and more of those customers that you appreciate working for and they appreciate you. And they recognise your quality then, don't they?
Yeah. Now, this whole idea of understanding who the ideal customer is, it obviously means that you can say no to people that not necessarily going to be your ideal customer.
Yeah.
And I think we talked a while back about the power of being able to say no, freeing up time and energy that you can put into other aspects of your business.
Absolutely. And coming away feeling more positive about your role and happier about the job that you did, because everybody wants that as well. It's not just about the money, is it? It's about feeling that that customer was really happy and so was I working for them. And that's why they call you back, isn't it?
Excellent. Kerry?
I've changed the business model completely for our company. February time, we were 90% commercial subcontracting, 10% domestic. We've changed that now completely to a 360 of 90% commercial and 10% domestic. We're not at the mercy of larger contractors controlling payment terms, controlling or driving down the price. We're in control now, which was scary at first, but we're getting there. We're building our own confidence. We're building our client base. Obviously, I only joined ToolBox this year, and the transformation not only in how the business is operating, but also how we're growing in confidence of being in control, fully in control, rather than some of these larger companies beating you down and putting you in quite a negative space. Really, really fabulous transformation so far.
So you're probably the youngest member of the ToolBox sat around the table at the moment. But for you, coming completely from a more commercial environment and then transitioning into the domestic sector, because many of the electricians in the ToolBox come in as domestic providers. They're providing services in domestic service and they're doing a little bit of commercial. You were completely opposite to that. You were mainly commercial, looking to transition into domestic. So what was it then within the ToolBox that sort of attracted you to think this is where I need to be to do this?
Pre-ToolBox, we were very much travelling like you were, Justin. The guys were on the roads doing 3 hours to a site, 3 hours on the way home. Their morale was low. We wanted local works. We didn't want to spend, 6 hours of every day travelling for pittance. So the focus for us was, right, let's see what's on the doorstep. Let's start from, we still had a client base, but just growing that local works for in the local region was the important part for us. But it was quite scary, really was quite scary. And it was almost like, is the ToolBox too good to be true? But oh my God, it's amazing, isn't it?
I think that probably is the thing, isn't it? There's so many things out there online, isn't there? So we're already in that mindset, aren't we? Of somebody's probably going to have us with this one. They're probably going to screw us over on that one.
Yeah.
But actually, I think for us particularly, that's why we've been in the ToolBox for such a long time. So the beginning of it was, oh yeah, I see that kind of works. I might have another look at that. and it was slow growing. But once we'd done a bit more one-to-one time with James, actually that was the time when we really looked at it, really focused on it, and then could see the wins from it. And there's no looking back after that. Yeah. And the positivity of it is the major thing, you know, that everybody you're chatting to on there is positive. It's not a draining.
It's a real community.
Yeah.
When you're at the mercy of the larger subcontractors, it is a negative place. They're just talking you down, putting you down, asking more and more of you, even though you're giving so much. Whereas the toolbox, I actually thought, pre-toolbox, I thought all electricians were just mean and nasty. So to have a, you know, I can contact any of you guys and say, I don't really know what I'm doing on this. And people are there at the end of the phone to actually help out. And it's really, really lovely, really supportive.
So remind me again, how many staff have you got?
We've got 2 electricians on the road and me.
Okay, and you've transitioned from sort of like 90% commercial to now 90% domestic. And little resistance from the staff?
No, they still get their buy-in to the commercial works that we do. We are specialists in electrical inspection and testing. They still get to do that. They like the variety, and what domestic work gives is a variety every single day. It's no day is the same. Yeah. So, and they love being closer to home.
And this is the beauty about the minimum charge work as well, isn't it? You could be in and out of 6, maybe 7 projects in a day at a minimum charge. Yeah. And no 2 jobs are going to be the same. They're all small. And the beauty of that is there is so much of that kind of work out there that other electricians turn their nose up at because it's the kind of job you do on the way home, or they don't know what to charge, or they scratch their chin and, what do I charge for that? Yeah. Whereas if you build that into your business model and you have minimum charging, then every single one of those is profitable and enjoyable.
Yeah.
Shem, hello. What's your year been like?
Yes. If I would name a few things, that would be becoming VAT registered. I was aiming for it because I was wanted to shift it from some of domestic work and pick up some commercial work in the region and local area of Southampton. I'm traveling within an area of 8 miles, about 30 minutes from Southampton, which is very nice. And I was used to do subcontracting only, so 45, 50 hours a week, maybe even more, to earn money. And now I have my own system of charges, which I present to every customer. Charges are across the board all the same, apart from specializing services like fault finding. There's different charges to that. But I also narrowed my niche of services. I'm not going after everything. I do not repair appliances, for instance, because some electricians or some business are specializing in repairing appliances. So I don't do that. Yeah. And like this, coming to the end of the year, till the end of the year, every day I will fit EV charging point. So that was aiming for to swap from other services to mostly to fitting EV charging points. And that comes mostly from my blog posts from the videos and spreading word of mouth. And if I would say about successes as well, yesterday I've checked my mailing system. I have 200 subscribers.
Right.
So, which is brilliant because I can keep in touch with 200 customers. I can provide them information and share what other services I'm applying in my business.
That's brilliant. I think there's a couple of things that you said there that we could sort of unpack that might help people that are watching. One was the interesting one. You said this year you went VAT registered.
Yes.
Right. Mainly, a lot of people resist getting across that barrier. A lot of small tradesmen feel that when they have to charge VAT, that it puts their customers off. And I think the sad part of that is that they hold themselves back. Now, what's the VAT threshold at the moment? 87,000, is it? 85. I can't remember. Is it 85? Right. So what they're doing is they're restricting their income to remain below the threshold so that they don't have to charge VAT because they think that it's going to price them out of the market, which is, when you think about this logically, that's crazy. And the reality is, how many of you around the table are VAT registered? I think all of you, aren't you? Every single one of you are VAT registered. Yeah. So the reality is that when you manage the business correctly, and when you manage VAT registration correctly, and the charging correctly, and you get your mindset in the right place, being VAT registered makes absolutely no difference to your customer, does it?
No.
I mean, we've had this time and time again, and with newer ToolBox members, when they hit that threshold, when they start generating the work that they need, and when they start hitting that threshold, they go into this panic mode of, oh, I'm going to have to register for VAT. I'm going to have to reduce my prices in order to still remain competitive. And when we sort of coach them through, and they realize that they're not charging VAT. VAT is a government tax. And when you get your head around that, when you realize that your customers in the main don't actually mind paying it. It's all your mindset. It's your issue. So I think, having said that, how did you find the transition to VAT?
So yeah, as you said, like I did notice there was like a small drop because of my scarcity inside. That was my mental thing inside me. But then when I look like a rolling year, like within tax threshold, I can see my turnover is rising. And I've noticed like some businesses, they're looking more to have a business with also businesses who are VAT registered.
Yep.
That they can claim that VAT back. And I was like, oh really? That's something which is benefits me rather than not. And I'm like maybe, some of the questions I have, can you fit commercial EV chargers? Yes. I'm government approved installer, so they can have a grant through the government scheme for fitting EV charging in the business place, and they can claim back VAT. And I'm limited company. I have high insurance, not like required limit for, in my case, NAPIT.
Yeah.
But I have just to cover myself and cover my customers as well. So I'm above the limit. And this week I had a email from the company. Our standards has changed. If you can send your insurance to work with us, and our standards are £5 million for public liability and £500,000 for professional indemnity. Yeah, here you have. So that's simple for me. But other people, as you said, like they limit themselves, and I look at that in my business as expense rather than benefit, so I can share that proudly with my customers.
Yeah.
I'm not the electrician who just aim for minimum. I'm aiming high, and I try to deliver the best service for my customers.
The other thing you mentioned a moment ago was the value of your email list, which again is something that many tradespeople don't value. They get customer details because you're going to customers day in, day out. If you're servicing the domestic market, whether you're a plumber, a electrician, a heating engineer, a gardener, a locksmith, if you're servicing the domestic industry, you are meeting people on a daily basis. And if you're not capturing those details, if you're not taking those details in, you are literally throwing money away. Because if you're spending money on advertising, whether you're advertising in magazines, on Facebook, on Google, you're paying for leads. Don't make me say that again. If you're doing any of those things, then that's money you're spending. When if you have an email list, that's a captured market. That's people that you have in your local community that you've come across on a day-to-day basis that you can promote to day in, day out. And many tradesmen just don't see the value in that, and they get concerned and worried about spam and about creating a bad reputation for themselves. But the truth of it is, I think, as you guys will all attest to, with the right training, when you understand the rules and regulations around spam and GDPR and so on and so forth, when you've got all of that and you're actually providing your customers with useful information and hints and tips, then they're glad to receive your emails. And you're actually selling to them without selling to them. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We would never do without that now. That is, majority of our work comes from repeat business, and it's repeat business from people that are on our emailing list. I often get just email replies just saying, that was so useful, that information. And it's just random stuff, we think, because obviously we live with an electrician or we work with an electrician, don't we? So knowing all about different types of light bulbs, we already know that in our head somewhere, don't we? But these people don't know that. And then when they see it, it's easy, isn't it? They don't have to search for it. we're just posting that information.
Yeah, and it's not about selling. It's not about saying, buy my stuff. It's about, here's some interesting information, or here's some educational information, or here's some entertaining information.
There's additional information that we're giving as well as our service in the home, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's keeping those people remembering, oh, he was the electrician, wasn't he? Because quite often you might not want an electrician for another 6 months, and suddenly you're thinking, where did we get his number from? Who wrote that down? Who had that on their phone? And people can't remember, can they?
Yeah. But we talk about this all the time. No, I mean, people say well, again, one of my big bugbears, as many of you will know, is that when you have these people saying word of mouth is the best form of marketing. Yeah. If you're any good at what you do, son, yeah, you'll never have to advertise a day in your life, right? All you have to do is do a great job, and they'll have you back time and time again. And the truth of this is that you should be doing a great job anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're waiting for somebody to just recommend you, that's like, putting your finger in the air and hoping something's going to happen. But it's managing word of mouth means controlling the information flow, because people are going to talk about you regardless, right? Customers, if you've done something bad, if you've done something good, customers will talk about you. Well, you want them talking about you the right way, number one. You want them remembering who you are, number two. So going back to your point, somebody walks out the door and they say, you're happy with the job? Yeah, I'm really happy with the job, but we'll recommend you. Any chance we get, we'll recommend you. Well, when's the chance going to come to recommend you? If it doesn't come within the first couple of months, you give them a business card, because it doesn't come within the first couple of months. The business card goes in the drawer, and then several months later, the business card goes from the drawer into the bin, and then from there, the person may, a year later, 2 years later, get an opportunity where somebody down the pub says to them, I'm getting some electrical work done. They go, oh yeah, I think I've got that business card from that electrician I used. Who was he? What was he? Yeah. And it's like, oh, where did I put that? Now they can't recommend you because they haven't got your details. Whereas if they're receiving constant little touches from you, whether those happen to be email messages or newsletters, another strategy that we talk about, and there's many other ways of keeping in touch with existing customers. If they're getting something from you on a regular basis, then they're going to remember who you are. And when the opportunity comes, whether that's with a family member, a friend down the pub, a colleague at work, when that opportunity comes, they can easily recommend you. And there's no having to go to the web or the, to Facebook or anything like that, or one of those lead generating programs. So the value of that email list is huge in terms of marketing. And if people just realized as well that every single customer has a lifetime value, and it's not just the value of that first job. Yeah, and it's not just the value of the work they give you, it's the work that they recommend you to and the testimonials that they provide as well.
Yeah, that's definitely the underestimation, I think, of using other marketing tools, isn't it? That a lot of people don't evaluate after how much did I get from that, for how much money I actually put out for it. And to just have an emailing list costs you nothing hardly at all compared to what business you get from that. The same with lots of the other marketing tools and strategies that we use.
Well, that's interesting. That leads us to that. I mean, we've talked about the emailing list. What's this open to all of you, obviously. What would you say is your, well, let me just say it. Within the toolbox itself, we know that there are we cover all of the strategies, whether it's online marketing or offline marketing. We cover every marketing strategy, because my belief is, as much as some people will say to you, Facebook advertising doesn't work, or Google advertising doesn't work, or my belief is every single marketing strategy that exists works. If it didn't work, it wouldn't exist. The issue is, how do you get it to work for you, or is it suitable for you when you measure it against your ideal customer? So I think the question I was trying to get to was, what is your, I was going to say favorite, but probably most effective strategy that you're using?
For our small domestic business in a rural area, I would say the biggest thing that brings in the most customers, initial customers, are our local magazines, parish magazines. We spend about £300 a year on 3 little magazines that everybody knows in that area, and they get them delivered to their door.
Yeah.
So straight away, you're picking up business from those little magazines. And then once you've got those customers, using that email, that constant email of sending out little things just to go, hi, remember me, and this is what we've been doing, or this is a funny little thing I found, or this is a new thing within electrical situations that you might want to know. Or lately, with all this wind, we've been having such and such problems come our door. Don't forget us, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And that's it. Those are the major things that are making a difference. And any time where we've thought, if we've evaluated areas within our rural community that don't get those magazines, then the electrician has gone out and gone walking around the area delivering leaflets. Right. Simple, basic leaflets, again, I think they're costing us about £40 for 1,000 or something. And he hand delivers them, particularly when it's good weather. And then you're meeting people all in that area that say, wow, nobody comes down here with a leaflet. Nobody comes down here with a magazine because of where it's situated. And again, dropping 20 leaflets, you'll probably get at least 5 calls from. It's a sure-fired way to get a customer straight away.
Yeah. I think, again, we have it with new people coming into the toolbox, that I would say a huge percentage of tradespeople at some time or another try to use leaflets in their business, and quite often it's without success. Why? I know the answer to this. Why do you? No, had you tried leaflets before joining the toolbox?
No,
had you tried
and it was
them?
the first thing that we did try.
Right. Okay. Has anybody on the table tried leaflets before joining the toolbox?
Yeah, I did. But I cheated because I actually used the template out of your book. I plagiarised it, and I had great success from it. I handed out about 1,000 leaflets, flyers, and I probably got 50 jobs from it. And that could be a couple of light changes to fuse board changes. Yeah. And I just did one estate in my local area, and I was blown away by the response. So that was great. But marketing wise for us, we obviously have the website, and we've set up the Google business profile. And that, although it doesn't identify our ideal customer, they both bring in so many inquiries to us. We've got some magazine adverts that we're starting to move into now. So I've got some local adverts. I've got an editorial to do, which I'm really looking forward to. And we're going to see how that goes. I mean, I've signed up for 6 months. We'll see what work it brings in. We've got
this is 6 months with the magazine.
Yeah, with the magazine. So I've got tracking numbers on it, so I know whether it's going to work or not, because that's obviously key to any marketing. But one of the things I've really learned is I've learned about marketing, and in the past I've been mugged off, and I've bought so many products from people, because as a tradesman, I think tradesmen tend to be a little bit lazy. Because it's easier to give someone some money and go, oh yeah, that'll do the marketing. So I was in the mindset that you have an accountant to do your accounts, you get a marketing company to do your marketing. And I can't believe how wrong I could possibly have been, because they don't care. They only care about taking your money. They don't care about whether it works or not. You're the person who cares about your business the most. You love your business more than anyone's ever going to love it.
On that subject, when you say a marketing company, and again, have you found that when you find these marketing, inverted commas, experts or marketing companies, when they try to sell you their service, it typically tends to be one-dimensional? So in other words, they'll tell you that they'll do the marketing for your business, but what they're actually trying to sell you is a website, or what they're actually trying to sell you is a funnel builder, or what they're actually trying to sell you is Facebook advertising. They're not actually looking at marketing in the whole, are they? They're not looking at it in the round. They're looking at what it is their special area is. And I think that's one of the things that frustrates me, is that, and I've said this time and time again within our own community, is that throughout our training in the trade, whether you came into this industry as an apprentice or whether you came in as a second career, short skill training course, whatever the route was into the industry, nowhere along the line did it teach you how to market your services or how to build a business out of what you do. And when you look at it logically, most tradesmen, again, not just electricians, but most tradesmen, when they complete an apprenticeship or when they complete their training, whichever level the training is at, they go self-employed. And it seems ludicrous that along the journey, there isn't some training that teaches them how to make a business out of what it is that they actually do. Because the downside of that is that a huge percentage of these people fail in business and go back into employment. Not because they're not good at what they do. They could be fantastic tradesmen, they'd be fantastic with their hands, really great with their customers when they get their customers. But because they don't understand business, they don't understand business management, they don't understand getting and keeping customers, they just fail in business. And it just seems a shame, really, and it's sad. So to your comment about learning about marketing and that, I mean...
It blew me away. The previous 16 years that I've run a business, I can say that I overachieved at underachievement. and that's being completely honest. It's being completely honest. I never realised there was so much to it, and I never grew and I never developed because I kept on making the same mistakes over and over again. Someone would come along with a directory that would be really shiny, and it'd be, oh yeah, you need to advertise in here, and I'd spend a fortune with it, pay a load of money, never get an inquiry. I've signed up to various things. I've signed up to a safety campaign for a local primary school, and it wasn't until they came up for the second lot of money I thought, well, maybe I should give the primary school a ring and see how the first campaign went. Never heard of them. And I was like, yeah, and you pay money, and you see all the things with advertising on the golf course, and you can be on the local fire brigade calendar and stuff like that. They don't exist. They're all just scams. So it's very easy, if you don't know, to be scammed of your money because you're trying so hard to promote your business, but you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas the ToolBox will teach you how to do it, and it will show you how to do it, and it will show it across a vast amount of mediums that you don't have to do them all. It'd be nice to do them all, but you can do the ones that suit you best. So the ones that you're more comfortable with, and you can market it. So you can be flyers, it can be website, it can be Google, it can be YouTube, it can be Facebook. All the training's there. You've just got to embrace it and go out and do it, and it will show you how to because it's a toolbox. The tools are in there, and you're shown how to use them. You've just got to go out and do it.
He's figured out why we call it the toolbox.
But you get a true and honest review system as well, don't you? Whereas when you buy something normally, yes, even on Amazon, you've got 1,000 people that have reviewed this at 5 stars. You don't know them, do you? You don't know if that's true. Whereas we know that's true because we see everybody's faces and we see them talking about it. So it's much more honest. And I think working in an electrical business, like you said before, that it doesn't feel that honest out there. People are wanting to go, no, you never get that price. No, you don't need to do that. You just need to do word of mouth. And you just go with that, even though that person's probably thinking, it's not really working for me either, but that's all you can do. Yeah.
I think a lot of other electricians see every other electrician as a competition, and it's not. It's not that. It's just not that at all. No one is your competition really, because we're all specialise in our own jobs. What we like doing. I like doing the ICRs. I like doing consumer unit and distribution board changes. I like doing commercial work. But the bloke down the road might be a house basher. He'll love doing rewires, and I personally hate them. And if we all worked more as a community, we could pass work between each other. A much better way of working.
And that happens a lot in the toolbox. People passing work and passing details on to one another. But again, that's a mind shift, a mindset shift for a lot of people to realize that even if you are, and when I was on the tools, I had 13 other electricians within walking distance of my base, right? 13 other electricians. And it would be easy to see that as competition and think, well, I've got to compete on price. I've got to drop my price down. But when you realize, to your point, and again, sort of toolbox training, when you realize to your point that when you understand who your ideal customer is, when you understand what your niche is, what your area of expertise is, and when you understand the geography and the area that you actually want to operate in, then you really don't have competition. What you have is the opportunity and the potential to collaborate with people. Because, again, like you, I never liked rewires. I never liked doing pat testing, but fault finding, loved it. Yeah. So rewires and pat testing and stuff like that, I could pass off to other electricians, and they were glad of the work. Yeah. And you end up creating a community of people that you can actually collaborate and work with. And I think from a point within the toolbox, one of the best ones that I've seen with that is the Bristol area. Yeah. The guys that we have in Bristol, actually the guys we have down in Kent as well. But the guys that we have in the Bristol area, there are, I think, 12 of them in the area, and they are constantly passing work back and forth, commercial, domestic, rewires, and moving stuff around and covering for one another on holidays and sickness and everything, which is fantastic, rather than thinking he's going to steal my work. It's just makes a really fantastic community. Anyway, your favorite strategy so far?
Leaflets. Who would have thought a little piece of paper would just work? I honestly, when I first signed up to ToolBox, and one of the first things suggested was this leaflet, I was like, you've got to be kidding. I've paid this money for an idea of sending out a leaflet. And what do you mean there's a certain way of doing a leaflet campaign? Surely you just get a leaflet, you print it, you post it. Oh, no. But it works. Literally within the first 20, we were starting to get calls from the people that were receiving, I've got this light fitting changed. I've been looking for somebody local. Oh my word. I think we've gone through about 50,000 leaflets since March.
Wow. It is interesting, and it's funny enough. I mean, we've been doing this now for 12 years with the Toolbox, 11, 12 years. And in the early stages, I was concerned that I was just going to get known as the leaflet guy. because every time somebody came into the community and they started to use the leaflets and saw the power of, and the Toolbox is so much more than leaflets, right? But when people saw the power of it, everybody, the way you've just reacted there, oh my God, yeah. And we almost mentioned this just a minute ago when Kate was talking about it.
We were those people.
But most people will have a leaflet designed by a graphic designer. I've got nothing against graphic designers, right? But most people will have a leaflet designed by a graphic designer. And the reality is a graphic designer is more inclined to want to over-deliver and show you how clever and how good they are. So you pay a fortune for something that looks really nice and looks really, really good, but is not an effective piece of marketing. It doesn't get the phone ringing. So you go away looking at it and you think you're really proud. It's what I used to call ego marketing. You look at it and you think, this is really good. This really represents my business. This is fantastic. It looks great. But then you deliver 5,000, 10,000 of them and there's like tumbleweed. There's no phone calls. There's nothing happening. And then you take the Toolbox strategy, and it is the strategy. It's not just the piece of paper.
Yeah.
Because it is a strategy. It is the piece of paper, but it's how the piece of paper is put together. It's how it's titled. It's how the call to action is placed on it. It's how it's presented. But then it's actually how and when it's delivered as well. So it's not just, and this is why people will fail at it, because people will get some results, Justin. Yeah. When they sort of get a copy of the book or they see a video about the leaflets and they then just copy the strategy. And what they don't understand is the deeper psychology, I guess, behind the marketing strategy. Yeah. It's about how it's delivered. It's about the way it's left in the door. It's so much more than just the leaflet itself. But that's without telling everybody too much. Okay?
Yeah. That's where the community comes in to offer those like little hints and tips of, we've done it this way. Okay. So you add all of those tips together and then it's just...
But it's also the training videos as well. It's the videos that walk you through step by step, how to create the leaflet, how to have the leaflet printed, how to have the leaflet delivered, where to deliver it, when to deliver it, and so on and so forth. All of that is part of the process. But this goes down to any form of marketing. And this is what I said right at the beginning when we started was, every marketing strategy works if you understand how to work it and if it's the right one for your ideal customer. The problem is people go off half-cocked. and they try to do a strategy because they saw somebody else doing it, but they don't understand the nuances. Even down to, who mentioned magazine ads earlier on? That was you, Jay, wasn't it? Yeah. Even down to the magazine ad. You know, just putting an ad in a magazine on its own may work. It may get you results. But if you do it following a particular strategy, the way we teach you in the toolbox, and I'm not saying that's the only strategy, but if you do it that way, you increase your potential, you increase the possibility of the results that you're going to get by strategizing it rather than just going, oh, put that ad in there.
Yeah. Like we'd never say all adverts in all magazines work, because that's definitely not the case.
Yeah.
But once you've decided how you're going to do that and who you're aiming it at and how you're going to present it, and all those tried and tested things that the toolbox guys have done, means that you then get a proper hit off it, rather than maybe 1 out of 200,000.
Yeah. You're maximizing it.
Yeah, and then it becomes an investment rather than a risk.
Yeah, absolutely. And without really putting too much up front either. When you're setting up and you're starting up and so worried about, oh, do I spend 200 on that or that or that?
Yeah.
You're talking about a few pounds, you know, to get a really good return.
But you think about anybody starting out in a toolbox, everything we talk about is low and no cost. And we would always sort of suggest that anybody coming in starts off with the no cost stuff. Yeah. And there's a huge amount of stuff that you can do that costs you absolutely nothing to market your business. And yet people start up in business and they'll go and spend a fortune with, I'm very conscious of mentioning the trade names here, but you will know of a large website selling company that does listings, like smellsomething.com or something like that. But they'll go in, they'll spend a fortune with organizations like that and spend 500 quid on a website, probably even more than that now, but pay that on an ongoing monthly basis, and not get any results from it, or at least not know what the results that they're getting from it are. And yet there's so much that they could be doing completely free of charge that would help them, and they shy away from it because they think it's difficult. And the reality is that most of the free strategies, if we just did a quick list of free strategies, you've got Google Business Profile, Facebook Business Page, you've got TikTok if you so wanted to use it, and you know it is more and more an upcoming thing. YouTube. You've got Instagram, you've got YouTube. These are all free. There are certain networking groups in your local community, free, that you can go and attend. So there's a huge amount of stuff that you could do to promote your business without ever having to put your hand in your pocket. And yet people will go straight into spending a fortune and losing it straight away.
Yeah.
We didn't ask you what your favorite strategy
So
was.
I've learned that what works for me, obviously the leaflet. So I added something on the top of the leaflet template from the toolbox. I added my photo, and like people are, looks like you. So that's another touch. But what really works for me is just presenting what I do to the customers. So I'll put like on a regular basis, like weekly, what I do or what I've done, like a case study for my customers, like finding the fault, repairing it, or how that influence life of my customer. Let's say nowadays is going to be positive ventilation input ventilation unit, which like people are struggling with dampness in their houses. So that's what I do. And I will take some photos, maybe record a video and explain how that influence life of the customer. The same with the EV charging points. What are the concerns? I will create a blog about frequently asked questions from the customers, because people generally, as Kate said, people don't know. We are in our environment is like it's a language between us, so everyone knows what does it mean to split the tails or put like in the terminal blocks. What does it mean consumer unit? People's like, yeah, they nod their head. It's like nothing like it. So in the layman terms, people like to have it explained. I'll put a blog. I'll refer it to the Facebook page or my Google My Business profile as well. And that creates, for me, it creates exposure. Do I have loads of work from it? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But generally, I create exposure of my services to the people. And like I recently joined a local networking group. I just started like I think 3 or 4 months ago. And networking meeting is like once a month. It costs you like a cuppa. If you'd like to join with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, that's what it costs you. It's not nothing else. Yeah. And a local golf club just basically sharing the table for us for nothing, for exposure for them.
Yeah.
And because I was attending that networking group, I was tagged yesterday by 5 people from that networking meeting. They recommend my services. And I've joined the other groups, like I'm struggling with dampness, and one of the people who are attending that networking meeting tagged me in that group. Chef from Electricians might have a solution for you, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely. I've spent my time. I've attended my meeting. I shared what I do, which area I'm working. I'm happy to work, and that means that networking works if you work for it.
Yeah.
And that person who was in that networking meeting, they listened what I have to offer. And that was actually how it helped my services, how it helped the customers. From the Facebook, I've learned that you need to, in order to know what Justin said, in order to know what marketing strategies work for you, you need to follow, for Facebook, it's a pixel.
Yep.
Google Analytics, tracking numbers, all sort of stuff. There's a number of tools you can do, even software. I really, my customers appreciate the software. I would say that's a huge win for me, because my comments on the Google business profiles are saying I was kept informed when the electrician will arrive. I was sent a reminder. I was presented with a written quote and with the clear terms and conditions. And I cannot say to the customers, give me a positive review on the Google. They will do it on their own. So they will be basically happy how my service and was outlined to them, and they're sharing it on the Google, which is brilliant. And I love to see that more and more. I've got almost 70 reviews on the Google business profile, which is that exposure is brilliant for me. And all those,
But this comes down to the S.P.A.R.K.S, isn't it? The S.P.A.R.K.S system,
Yes.
which is the P. The P is all the positioning part of it. And again, what you're doing in terms of the blog post, in terms of getting the right reviews, and that is positioning yourself within your local community and in the networking organizations that you're attending. That positioning is working for you, because now people are recognizing and knowing that you're the go-to guy.
But also saying that when we were talking about a little bit earlier about it, I've learned to say no to certain services.
Yeah.
So I will happily pass some information or lead or refer customer to someone else, some other electrician. I had an inquiry about commercial testing, which is huge scope, loads of planning, so much labor involved in it. And I've referred one of the toolboxes, also a local electrician in Southampton, and rang him, referred the customer via email. I recommend that tradesman. He have enough labor, enough skills to cover the service for you.
Yeah.
And the electrician was happy, and the customer was happy. And I added a line. Looking forward to business with you. That's it. That's what I can do. That's as honest as it can be. And also, if someone's going to ask me, can you repair the hob? It's not worth repairing the hob nowadays. You need to replace it. And obviously, I know the businesses in the local area who are happy to look and deliver that sort of service.
Yes.
And I also recommending them.
Comes back to that power of saying no again, doesn't it? It's that power of saying that this isn't what I do. Whereas, people who are, I guess, early in their journey in their business are more likely to say yes to this kind of work, which is great for you, because then you've got people that you can pass that work off to, because you don't need to be doing it and you don't want to be doing it. So it's easy to pass it off.
But I need to say that I'm not free of mistakes. And I had recently an inquiry from the customer who I could want to use and Hive and the British Gas deal with the year free of charging, and the customer was an hour and 20 minutes away from Southampton. It's I can help you, but then we shifted from one charger to exploring a bit more chargers, a bit more just what, I bet someone from the local area would deliver the service you deserve and deliver with the time manner. And I said no. And customers, okay, thank you.
Respect your honesty.
Yeah, because if you are the only one in the area, I might think about it. But exploring more options and delve into more details, it takes my eyes from the ball from the local area, and the customers is like spreading the option. So honestly, it doesn't work. And so I'm happy to say no.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, as you said, like when you started the business, it's quite difficult because before I joined the ToolBox, I've done quickly my math on the spreadsheet. It's like, I can't charge that much. How? It's like, you know, because I was in subcontracting mindset, and obviously in subcontracting, there's certain rules you need to follow as a subcontractor. We have that sort of budget to deliver that project. If you would like, you can join us for that sort of money.
Yeah.
But now I'm in my business, I need to decide what I'm willing to, how much customers need to pay for my time to deliver a certain service. If I not charge enough, I will be out of the business. And that's sadly like HMRC and different organizations sharing across the board. Like so many new businesses will basically stop existing because they're not charging enough in my eyes within 2 years, which is really, really sad. Because as we all said, there's so many skilled tradesmen, not only electricians, but skilled tradesmen who have like loads of work, but they're not charging enough. And there's like suddenly, I don't have enough time, enough money to bring to home.
Yeah.
And I'm always busy. And like it's like snowball effect the other way we don't want to go. So
yeah. Happily enough, that's not a ToolBox.
No,
story.
it's not. No.
So tell me something then. Out of, I guess, every feature that we have within the community. So, well, we've got the community itself. We have the
Workshops.
We've got the meetup workshops, the regular meetup workshops. We've got the online Monday Q&As. We've got the Wednesday morning meetings. We've got the vault of all the video training and everything. What would you say is your favorite feature?
Dashboard.
Either favorite or most used feature from the ToolBox?
Dashboard.
The dashboard. Now, the dashboard being the free piece of software that we provide ToolBox members with. It's a business management software.
Yeah. I heard about it at the ToolBox event up in Huddersfield, and I was then started badgering you. I want to be a beta tester. I want this. I want this in my life. And all of our social media posting is scheduled through that. I didn't do any form of email marketing before because I just didn't understand it. We're now using it for our email marketing and looking to automate as many processes as we can through it. So it's it's just churning away in the background, and it's fab.
Excellent. I mean, it's a full-featured business management software. It will help with, as you know, the quotations, the invoicing, collecting payments, scheduling the work, because you get diary management in there, scheduling all your social media posts, CRM system for keeping all of your customer information, social media. I said social media scheduler, didn't I?
Yeah.
What else does it do? Email marketing. Whereas before we were recommending a piece of kit for email marketing and autoresponder that we were recommending. It just sort of makes sense that this is now a piece of kit we can offer to the members completely free of charge. So or as part of their membership. So I'm glad you're enjoying that and making use of that. Justin.
Well, the dashboard's wicked, but for just your basic ToolBox membership, the Kajabi app, because it's got it's probably 650 lessons on there, or videos, and it's got probably another 50 downloads, so you can download all your forms. It's a learning resource that's just it's vast, and it's just expanding. It's just growing. So every time there's a challenge, there's new videos, and again, it's free to the members.
How many of the videos have you done?
Now I've done about 70. So I haven't done. I'm slacking.
No, I'm glad you said that. I've done about 100, and I was like, oh yeah, but I haven't even got in quarter of the way, halfway. But there's so much more.
It's vast, and without wanting to be overwhelmed, because that's what you can do. As I've learnt, you need to break it down into bite-sized chunks, and that way you can achieve the big picture.
Yeah, the interesting. I don't want this to turn into a lesson, but the interesting thing about the Kajabi app and the resource that you have there is that it is a huge vault of information, and it was never intended to be a sequential follow this, and this. The idea is that it's a research tool. So if you want to, and this goes back to what we were saying about not everybody using every form of marketing, but if you want to start working with, as we mentioned earlier, leaflets, then you can search that portal and you will find all of the training and all of the templates and all of the downloads that you need to know and understand how to actually use leaflets in your business. And the very same thing is, if you want to do some radio advertising, you do a search under that and it will give you everything that you need that we've done on that. And the thing is, everything that's in there, it's not generic information. It is lessons learned. It's life in that has been tried in real terms, tried and tested, I guess is the way you look at that. So the vault of information, that's your go-to.
Yeah, that is, because it is vast, and I need to make more use of it. If I hold my hands up, I don't make as much use of it as I should, and there's probably an awful lot of members that don't make.
Would be every member.
That would be every member, right? Because it is vast. It is vast. There is so much information, and even if you, I don't know, if you mastered 25% of it being there, your business would be in a completely different place from where it is at the moment.
But knowing that you've got that to tap into, of like, I've got a bit of time now, I'm going to just log in, learn about this. Oh yeah, I quite like that idea. And it's not locked down. So once you've done module 1 or something, that you never see it again, you can dive into it as much as you need to or want to, which makes it, ongoing.
A lot better than doom scrolling on social media, isn't it? You can actually learn something, you can pick up something that's going to benefit you in your business.
Micro learning, they'd call it.
That's it. Thank you. So what is it for you, Shep?
Yes, what's your? I will follow the same trend. Kajabi app. When I joined the ToolBox, I was still subcontracting, and I've used time spent in the van traveling to work and back, and I was listening to the Kajabi app. On the Kajabi app videos, and one of them was like short videos between 5 to 7 minutes, which is like about 200 of them about different topics. So that was just enough to
ToolBox TV,
that was, yes.
Yeah.
And so basically they cover like most of the areas I wanted to learn, and obviously that's the quick resource to find, okay, what was the topic, and within 5-7 minutes you can refresh what you're aiming for, what are the options, and from that point you can start exploring different strategies or perspective. And also what I would like to mention, like in my business, what I found is very useful tool as a community as its own, because we have like a Facebook page, community group, where I can post like questions, not only technical but with customer relationship marketing, and like when you have like this difficult position, how to answer the question to the customer, or is it your own fault, or is it communication problem, or I didn't communicate it as I should. People will help you. Okay, actually, what I see, you didn't communicate it clearly to the customer. What are the terms and conditions, and basically you should learn from it. No one is like, okay, you are not.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? Again, without mentioning any names or anything, but there are other trades communities out there on the web where if you posted a question similar to what you're saying, if you posted a question saying, I've had a bit of a falling out with the customer and I think I did this and they think they did that, then you go out into these other,
scary.
You get berated, you get slagged off, you get put down. But within the ToolBox community, what you get is feedback from, and it's not just me or the admin team, is it? It's all of the members who will go in and make you rethink the response that you might be thinking about sending to the customer, and make it more palatable, if that's the word.
That's the right word. And it's like, for me, it's a huge benefit, because it obviously, as you said before, there's a lifetime value of the customer.
Yeah.
So I would say within my career, I would probably met 2 or 3 customers which I don't want to work for them anymore.
Yeah.
And probably on the other hand, 2 or 3 customers wouldn't refer me to someone else. They want to use my services, which is absolutely fine. But then I would like to keep it as professional as it can be.
Yeah.
Within response to my business, because I would like to learn and deliver more services, be a better person, and serve the better service within my business as well. That's huge benefit for me.
Excellent. So thinking about the toolbox as a whole, what do you think we could add, change, or otherwise sort of invest in that would make it an even better platform and an even better program?
That's a really challenging question. I need to say, because
That's my job, to give challenging questions.
if you look at the what we covered today, so we didn't cover. It was like we covered like a tip of the iceberg only, because there's so many resources from those points, and you need to dig. And I would refer to the marketing, passing the marketing to other businesses. Like if you have like marketing a group or a marketing business, you need to know what you are passing to them as a business, like what they're going to market. So you need to know the strategy behind the marketing. And okay, you can have it, you can do it in my name, but you need to know the rules and the outcome, what they should deliver for you. But what I'm saying, like it's really hard to say what I would add to the toolbox in general. Maybe more meetings like that.
Kate?
I think everyone learns in a different way, don't they? So I know that my husband started with all of the app, and he would listen to it, and he would listen to it on replay, and and he would absorb that and then try and share that with me. But until I saw things happening on the Wake Up Wednesday or heard other people talking about it, that sunk in better for me. I want to see somebody doing it, and James does do that. He shows you actually how to do it. I can have my laptop in front of me, he can be doing what he's doing, and I'll know exactly what I'm doing, rather than replaying. Yeah, not very good with attention, I guess. But I think that's probably the best thing about it, is that he's constantly throwing out a different way of how we can learn the things that he wants to share with us. And I'm guessing that there's probably more ways maybe out there that you can do that with. Like when James talked earlier about how you might be trained as an electrician and you may have done that for 3 or 4 years, that training, or you may have done that really quickly. You may be amazing at being a technical electrician, but actually what you've not been taught is the marketing, but you've also not been taught through with how you might present yourself, how you might communicate with somebody, how you're actually not necessarily going to get the first job, because you're probably going to get that anyway, aren't you, if somebody finds you and they're desperate. It's about that maintenance of that customer.
Yeah.
And I think having all those other people that come to the toolbox, because you have your other professionals.
Yeah, I think that again goes back to, I guess, the question that I'm trying to ask is that over the 11 years, the toolbox has evolved. And I believe my job is to constantly bring things to the table that are going to benefit you guys, as in the toolbox members. So over the years, we've brought along the other coaches that we have. We've got Mihal, we've got Leela, we as coaches, because they've got the proper coaching qualifications. And then we've also brought in the other experts that we bring in. So we have the experts on Facebook, the experts on SEO. We've got the accountant, the HR specialist, even nutritionalist, even. Debt recovery. So we've got all of these people who are part of the community that you can tap into. And then we've introduced things like the offline workshops, like the online workshops. And I'm obviously constantly thinking, what else can we add? The dashboard, another thing, another tool that we've added for you guys. And then there's things that we took away. We provided free graphic tools for you guys to create graphics with, until Canva created its free version, and it far outstripped what we were able to offer. So we now just recommend that people use Canva. So I'm always looking at, how can I develop it? How can I make it better for the members? And I guess that's what my question is. What feature, what other benefit could I add that would make your lives better or easier?
Well, I know I'm still fairly new to the toolbox. I've done the 2-day workshop. I'm already booked in the one for next year. I've joined Mastermind, and we were there yesterday, and I swore at you quite a bit. You make me do the hard stuff. You make me, there's that because you're in this industry and you know what it's like to be in our situation, you push us to get the best out of us because you can see where we want to go. And as I said before, my aspiration is to then go on the retreat to know more and develop more. And it's not like some people out there that just have this vision of more money and more money. I want to be proud of my company and be proud of the service that we offer. My staff want to continue serving for the company and working for the company. It becomes part of their career path as well. It's not. I don't think any of us are sitting around here wanting to be millionaires or billionaires. We're quite happy with working as we are, but with more help.
Yeah.
So
Just to know that it's profitable, I think, is the main thing, isn't it? It's not about the amount of. You know, when you see all those posts that says, "Oh, how much do you charge per hour?" or "How much are you earning per hour?" It's so personal, isn't it? It's not that. It's just that we don't want to go to work and come home and then think at the end of the year, "Wow, that was a bit of a waste of time."
Yeah, I think there are
It's more than that.
there are some people out there sort of selling a pipe dream, if you like, or they're selling, get rich quick schemes, or jump into solar. That's the next big thing because you're going to make a fortune out of it, or jump into EVs because that's the next big thing, or have my coaching services because I'm going to make sure you're earning billions. And that's not necessarily what people are after. People are after a sustainable business that's bringing in a good income, and it's realistic. And I think anybody who knows me, I mean, I'm very, very passionate about what I do. And you're right. I mean, I come from the background. I work with electricians because that's my background. 28 odd years in the industry on the tools. And I know what it is like to be struggling to find work. I know what it's like to be struggling to keep your head above water because I've been there. Yeah. And that's why the whole mission, if you like, of the toolbox and the toolbox being developed, that S.P.A.R.K.S Blueprint being developed and the toolbox being developed, was to help people to avoid the pitfalls and the mistakes that I have made, that I saw other people making time and time and time again. And it was never going to be a get-rich-quick scheme. It was never going to be a magic pill. I was always going to be honest about the fact that there's work involved and it's you that have to do the work. I can't do it for you. If you want a successful business, you need to put the effort into actually building it. And I think in essence, that's what the toolbox stands for, isn't it? It's that belief that it's not get rich quick. It's not done for you. It's done with you, and it's done where some people would sort of sell you a training course and say, "Here you go, off you go, learn that, and you'll be fine." With the toolbox, we don't sell you a training course. We provide you with support. And initially, that started out with just me on my own, and we've built that now. I've got Steve on board, who is my right-hand man. We've got the whole admin team that support it as well. And then we've got all of these experts that we mentioned that we bring in. And the whole idea was to make your life, as toolboxers, make your life easier. And I guess that goes back to the question, what else can I do? What more can we bring to the table?
Oh, I reckon a Christmas party. More socials. Yeah. Christmas party.
I did like the Reading practical workshops, recording videos. I did like that. I enjoy that because it just break the ice from standing in front of the camera, and it's like big anxiety, and helping other people record themselves, and sharing the feedback between each other. I was good. So I would say more. Not they do not exist, but more of the practical stuff, hands-on project, because obviously we know how to buy things, check things, and make it safe. But it's not the marketing.
We're not teaching you how to be electricians.
No. So, but yeah.
But yeah, when we do 2 workshops a year. There used to be 1-day workshops. We've started doing those as 2-day workshops. And again, I'm always happy to explore maybe doing more of those. But at the moment, there's the 2 every 6 months. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I should look at that.
opportunities for us all to get together would be great, because it's, yes, we are supporting each other over WhatsApp, Facebook, but to be able to see each other a bit more would be nice.
Being in business can be a very, very lonely place to be.
Oh, definitely.
It can be incredibly hard when you're on your own. Maybe you don't have a partner who's supportive of what you do, and you know, it's there's always lots and lots of naysayers out there who will try and put you down, and you just want to be successful. You want to be successful. It's not about the money. You just want to be successful. You want to have a good business, and you want to try and have a good life. And there's always plenty of people who always try and put you down and say you can't do that, and you can't achieve that, and you can't have that. And so there is you've got to fight that constant negativity. And the thing I like about the actual toolbox itself, and that's why I became a member of it, is because it is a community. It is about other people, and there are always people who give their opinion, and if they do criticise, it's critique. It's not criticism. There's nothing nasty. There's no malice in it. It's their honest opinion, and that is absolutely brilliant. That's absolutely priceless. Having a community of like-minded people, because we're all like-minded people. We all just want to do the best that we can do, be the best we can. It's such a powerful thing to do.
Actually, I mean, we met at Huddersfield, didn't we? So just being able to be around, like, how's business for you? How is it going? And when you know more about each other, there is that, oh, you've done that. Oh my God, that's amazing.
I mean, it's almost like we should set up little regional groups within the toolbox, because we are regional. You talk about Kent and Bristol. I mean, the South Sherman, we're only sort of 45 minutes from each other. I think that will help with member retention, but it will also help with getting new members. It makes it more sort of accessible. If that kind of, I know it's not. It is accessible anyway, but it'll make it more local, more friendly. I suppose more approachable. And people can come along and people can have a look and see what it's all about. It might even be somewhere where you can gain new members, and on a local basis.
But it also then really covers almost every single learning style. Yeah. So if someone's really struggling with something, right, at the next meeting, shall we just all do this? That's a great idea. Or you've got some amazing talents in sending out your emails. Can we just run through some examples of what you've done? Whereas some people some people read it better, some people see it visually, some people, I definitely in person, I learn more in person. So just trying to cover all the bases would be great.
Okay. So on that note, and talking about new members, so what would you say to somebody who was sitting on the fence? And when I say that, we know that, and I think one or two of you around the table might be in this camp. We know that there are people out there who have heard of the toolbox many years ago, because as I said, we've been doing this now for 11, 12 years. They've heard of it many years ago. They've thought to themselves, like around the table, too good to be true, or maybe one day. What would you say to somebody sitting on the fence, somebody who knows that we exist and is thinking, oh, I don't know, should I, shouldn't I?
Do it now.
Okay, but why?
Because there is no other tool
Support network out there so specific and deep rooted in wanting to help you. Yes, there are other people wanting to sell stuff to make themselves money, but there's nothing else that actually will take you step by step, show you how to do your work. They're not trying to screw you over by selling this impossible dream. Everything that you need is accessible, and if we don't understand it, there's someone around to help. You can't get more than that.
Thank you. Jeff.
Well, speaking as a person who actually met you in 2015 and decided not to join the toolbox for 7 years.
And you still let him in?
I know. It's shocking, isn't it, right? I love the toolbox. And I love the fact the toolbox is a business, but it's a very unique business. The toolbox is set up to help other people have better businesses and have other people to have a better life. And that's very unique because, like you say, everyone has a business that's selling you something. They're trying to take your money off you. But this business has got such a unique model because it's there to actually help people have better lives. And that's why I love it. And I would say if anyone wants to sit on the fence, you could say, oh, it's £97 a month. Oh, it's the cost. And even that went through my head. Oh, it's the cost. It's nice. But actually, it's not cost. It's an investment. It's an investment in your future. It's an investment in your business development. It's also an investment in your personal development because that's key. You've got to get over that. That's irrelevant. This is life changing, and it's been life changing for me. My whole life is nothing like it was 2 years ago. It was car crash, absolutely. It was the last throw of the dice for me. I was in a point where I was just ready to give up. I didn't quite know what I was going to do, but I couldn't carry on doing what I was doing year after year, doing the same thing. And it got to the point, it demoralized me and just ground me down. So that's why I joined the ToolBox. It was, yeah, that sounds probably sounds a little bit horrible, really, but it was the last throw of the dice for me. And now I love business again. I love working again. It is great. It's hard work, but it's challenged me, and I know so much now that I didn't know before. So I'm thinking about things that I didn't even know were things to think about. Thank you. Okay.
For me, it's just a one-stop shop, isn't it? And that you feel, the biggest thing is that you feel you're in a safe environment. So there's loads of stuff you can find on the internet day in, day out, but you never know how safe that is. Whether you're going to be ripped off cost-wise or whether somebody's going to slap you in the face with their comment. That's never going to happen in this situation. And yeah, you've got to pay for it, but it's actually only £97 because if you implement just one of the strategies, you're going to make that money back this month, aren't you? So it's you've got to do it. And if you want to pull out afterwards, pull out. But I don't think many people do. We haven't.
So I would say it's not much to lose and everything to gain. And why is that? Because obviously the James warranty is like, if you're not happy within the first month, I will return your money. And within the first month, I knew the things because I paid for the book and ordered through the Amazon. I was like, before I joined, I would spend 97 quid. I would just read it, and I would figure it out myself. And I know that stuff. I know the S.P.A.R.K.S principle. It's like he's talking there, but then knowing is not doing. It's two different things, and it's like, okay, I will give it a go. It's only £97, which was really scares me because on the top of the other payments like membership, insurance, van, tools, all of those things. When you're going on your own, you need to spend all that money and then just drain your account. It's like, okay, I'll pay for it and I'll learn the strategies. So before I quit subcontracting, for the 5 months, I was learning and applying strategies from the ToolBox, and I had the resources at hand, which was absolutely brilliant because I could refer it at any time. As soon as you will finish coaching with someone or one-on-one, if you don't have like any notes, you can refer it to back again. It's like, okay, because I was a member of the community as well. I was watching the ToolBox TV about delivering leaflets and the template. So I put my first template in the community. Can you say what I can improve? There's like any mistakes in the wording or what should be slightly bigger, smaller, and as like all the advice, I took it, remake it, put it once again. Yeah, spot on, give it a go, and check the results. So that was brilliant. And I was struggling. I put some videos on my own, like how I check the area for houses, postcodes, things like that. And it was brilliant. And I felt so happy because over the five months, I've basically, from having no customers, I had enough customers to cover my bills and have enough in my pocket. Yeah. As I was working 50 hours a week, 4 weeks in a month, and I had the same money, which was working like 2-3 days a week, and have like free time, and I needed to be at work in order to make money. So I could think about strategies in my business where I should go with it. And by the end of the year, it's not the end of the tax year, but it's like time for reflection for me. Like, what I should take my business where, and like plan ahead. And it's also about money, because I would like to see some money in my account and having the security for myself and family and doing what I like to do in my life. But I'm not willing to pay the price today to become a millionaire from the day one, because it comes with a huge price and huge risk. So I'd like to build my business with some sort of strategy, which will basically, I can employ someone, maybe take an apprentice, and it's not a rush. Sustainable. That's the right word.
Yeah.
And that creates that feeling for me that being a member, I can always ask James. We had a few conversations also regarding the business, also my personal life, personal circumstances, how I should do it. And okay, that was brilliant. I couldn't ask anyone else, because no member of my family, no friends, they not in the position as I was, and the first person who I thought about was James. I was like, okay, I will schedule a meeting, and that helped me a lot. Just talk to my circumstances and what I should do with my business, and if he has any experience, and he has it. So if I ask my family members, just get on with it. That was the simple answer, because
They might get that answer from James as well.
but that was brilliant, and that's the benefit for me.
I think the thing is with family members and that they love you, and they're interested in your security and your safety. And unfortunately, that's where their advice is coming from that place of security. And they don't understand what it takes when you're running your own business in many cases. And it's not because they don't care. It's not because they're being horrid. They just don't get it. They just don't understand it. And I think being in a community like this really, really helps. And again, when it's not just me telling you stuff, when you're seeing the evidence from other members, when you're seeing what other people are doing, I think that is a really good help as well. So I think to wrap things up, I'm just going to talk to our audience for a second and say, if you are sitting there watching this video and you're thinking about doing good things with your business this year, coming up in 2025, then consider looking at this community. Nobody in this community will hold a gun to your head and make you stay. I think you've heard around the table some mentions towards the cost. At the moment, it is £97 per month for membership. You will more than earn that back in a very, very short period of time. Many ToolBox members increase their pricing within the first 3 weeks of joining. And certainly many of them are in profit within the first year of being in the ToolBox. I'd love to be a part of your journey. I'd love to be able to help you through 2025. I would love to be in a position to say in 2026 that you've achieved everything that you want to achieve in your business. And I think that as part of the ToolBox community, you could do that. So any final words from the gang?
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas, and just do it.
You could always put that on your Christmas list, and then at least you've read the book.
Oh, as a popular brand saying, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Happy Christmas, guys.
Happy Christmas.
Yours.